I was just wondering if you could just reflect on how the offense played Saturday. I think that's a very good defense you were going up against. It seemed like you guys had some chances maybe to kind of blow it open. It didn't. Is that frustrating, or is that just kind of more motivation going?
No, it's reality. When we watch the film as an offense, when you play against defense, you can't have 10, 9, or 8. You need all 11, because if the one person is not on their job, that defense is going to make the tackle. And usually when you see bad defenses, you can have 10 and 2 guys will miss a tackle and you go score for 80. When we play against good defenses, and that was right up there with the Clemsons, the Dukes, the Miamis. You can't have one mishap or they'll tackle you, and instead of 51 yards, you get 3 yards or 2. So it was a good lesson of just basically everybody having to execute and making sure we maintain blocks. Good defenses, they get blocked, but then they do block destruction. I think Miami does a good job of that. And so we knew that coming in. So we had a couple that could have, shoestring here, cut here, one block away, but, that was the reality of the contest.
The offensive line, we can see it up in the press box. Like Maurice is crawling sometimes after a player, or Darius limps off the field and goes back on. Maybe not the effort or the performance that you guys want at times, but knowing what those guys are going through, as a coach, how much do you retain or appreciate that?
Yeah, I mean, they know they appreciate it, but they also understand the standard of once you're out there. It's not like a hand clap or anything like that. If you're out there, you're expected to perform, and if you can't perform, don't go out there. So the standard still remains the standard in that regard. But no, man, we knew, what that game was going to be. We kept it simple, but, I thought for the most part they did what we asked them to do. We didn't take, we didn't turn the ball over. We didn't force anything. We didn't, we're normally a lot more aggressive, of course, but I thought the game plan that Coach had was really good and executed well, but there's a lot of missed opportunities that mostly disappointed us. When we had the chance to hit him guard, you saw, that one-leg tackle, or we just overshot it a little bit with the throw, or just little things like that, or a screen and Jaheim, one he cut back, all those little things like that we got to take advantage of what's there when you're playing good defenses, because you're not going to break 3, 4, 5 tackles and things like that. So I think that was a learning point from that game.
Trey Benson seemed to run very hard in that game. Can you just speak on his performance and how close was he to getting a lot more yardage than he actually ended up with?
Yeah, I told him the 2 runs, that were favoring him in the game was the first carry where, it was kind of a scrum, and he went in there and it should have been stopped for 1, but he got 5. And the one he hit in the red zone in the touchdown. I mean, they were in a bare presentation, and we were 1 short, and he still got in. You saw the O-line finishing in the end zone to get him in the end zone. So, that's real ball when you're playing against real defenses. So I like that mentality and that attacking mentality of finding a way to get it done, even when the situation is not ideal that you want to be in. So I was proud of him for those 2 runs. Of course, everybody saw the long one, but that was one clean, everything blocked up. You got him, and there's not many of those going to show up when you're playing against a good sound defense.
Coach, 3 for 12 on 3rd down, 2 field goals in the red zone. What were some of the problems situationally that you guys faced, and how can you fix that going forward, towards the end of the year?
It was a kind of not a really mixed bag, just more communication one time with a signal, being able to sustain amount of blocks for a longer period of time when you got speed coming off the edges, decision making and all that kind of good things. But above all of that, I thought the positive coming out of it was not to force something catastrophic, a forced throw, a fumble, pressing or doing too much and not just taking what they give. If they don't give nothing, make sure we leave with a punt to flip the field, because I thought that was going to be big in that game to make them drive the long field. So just being smart because you've seen us play aggressive and really attack, and we wanted to do those things. We had those drawing up, but what I thought was we didn't make a bad play a bad day. So there's a lot of things we got to clean up, get improved, and we watched every one of them and making sure we're held accountable for that. But also, at the end of the conversation was, don't make a bad play a bad day. We owned the ball, we didn't turn it over, and we didn't try to, do too much that could have caused them to have a little bit of momentum or give them the ball in the red zone or that thing that couldn't flip the field, which would have been detrimental.
You guys haven't given up a ton of sacks this year. They get 3, and it seemed like on at least a couple of them, it was almost like they were getting on Jordan quicker than he expected. Was there anything, was the protection not what were guys coming from areas he wasn't expecting, or were they faster than he might have expected, or what?
No, the last sack, they brought them all, and Mo They did a defense where the shade was crossing face, and he anticipated the same thing that happened. It didn't, and the linebacker shot. So they run him quick that last sack for sure. The other one was a roll out the pocket, came out late by 31. We had the tackle and the back out there, and I think when he scrambled left, and we didn't realize that he had scrambled left, but he had already kind of vacated the pocket, and it got on him pretty quickly. And the other one, I believe, we actually still got I think Jeremiah, I know JB won with the holding call when he escaped the pocket to the right, and they recorded that one. Those are the ones I remember. So I think it was just more of, we teach them every play is his own play. So what happened the last third down might not happen the next third down, even though it might be the same presentation. And I think he learned a lesson. Now, of course, you're not going to say, oh, he was, he wasn't a self, he wasn't 100%. But the reality of it is you can't assume something unless you know for sure. We got to play reactionary football. And he tried to, guess it once, and that's a part of it. But I think, both of it, man, they were fast. They could run. We knew the defense was fast coming in. So, yeah, they got up on us pretty quick.
You were talking about Maurice there at the end?
At the last one. The last one was, was when I got on the most because they brought them all, and we had a shot. But the last two, they did something a little bit different. And that's what good defense, they present it, and then bam, it's something different. And my reaction time had to be on point. So you hear me early in interviews, I talk about the flashes of the game and how we have to be a reactionary, and our reaction time have to match it for the lesson learned for the future. So, we're still getting better. Got to put him in a better position and make him understand that better going into the game. But he also understood it after. He wasn't out there running on the field celebrating nothing. He knew he had some things to get improved.
With senior day this week, obviously a pretty important senior class for how kind of things have been rebuilt in the first 4 years here. I'm wondering if Jordan's probably at the top of that list. I'm wondering if you have a couple moments or memories. There are so many to choose from that stand out from Jordan, your favorites.
Well, yeah, they have allowed our staff to enjoy full circle, even the context of questions that you get. It goes from, critiquing are you ever going to win to how you win now, which is a full circle progress of anything. And even seeing young men in their lives who I used to chase to class and chase them to practice, who are beating us to practice and already understanding the mistakes when they get to the sideline. That's why you don't see these huge blow-ups. So all full circle. Now, Jordan in particular, what you remember is just his journey of going from not the guy to the team. And that's what, we love those stories in college football. You're not seeing them as much, because of the landscape that we're in and the quick decisions and the things like that. But he is the true, man, the example of adversity, setbacks, change, and kept responding. And he's getting his just due for the process that he had to endure. And he's smiling a lot more. He's having fun. And he's also understanding how to enjoy, even when there's adverse moments or things don't show up how they need to show up, to find a way and still get the completion of a team, man. Jordan is enjoying every second of it, and I like to see that smile at the end of those games.
Not to be dismissive of Saturday's upcoming opponent, but how much do you like getting young O-linemen in the game, getting them game film, and giving them that opportunity against a different opponent to learn from it and take from it?
It's all earned, whether because we already rotating 8 guys, so it's really just earned. Did we earn the right to do that, or I won't put them out there at all. So it's good. Their preparation throughout the week, the reports I'm getting, because we watch the scout team film too. I put the film together and critique those guys down there, because a down block and a base block is a reach block, no matter where you at and what you're doing with it. And a pass set is a pass set, so it's all development. So everything is earned. The right to, if you get in those situations, to give them reward for the work they're putting in that week. But no, that speaks to nothing to the opponent. That's always on what we doing and how we handling business. So yeah, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If they've earned the right to play, they'll play. And if not, they won't. No matter what the situation is.
You touched on it with the sacks, but Corey was asked Coach Norvell earlier about some of the tackles for loss that have kind of mounted the last few weeks. How much of that do you feel like is things you guys need to look at scheme-wise, or is it just simply execution?
Both. We had a couple of things in this game plan that we didn't probably carry into this game that were new. We got called twice on it. A lot of it is just sometimes it's always, of course, you can say one guy getting beat on the inside move, or I can say the back should have cut it back, or different aspects like that. But the reality of it is you don't need any. And we got to make sure not only scheme-wise, but assignment-wise, and also understanding of situation, where is that is that situation where there's 1st and 10, or is it 3rd and short? What is that defender going to do? Cadence, snap counts. Are they jumping it? Do we need to slow down and kind of change the count a little bit to catch them slipping, which we caught them one time on the screen? So it's just all encompass of those things need to be improved as we go. And and that's not only the scheme. That's always, am I handling the situation well? That's what I love about our team is that when we have these meetings and we show the things that need to be corrected, they're saying them before we put them on the screen. So there's an investment of, man, coach, I got you. Or I tell you, man, no, that was a bad call, man. We should have called that something different in that situation because we didn't think they were going to go 0 there. So the combination of both ownership has to breed improvement on both sides.
Coach, you rotated the offensive line as little as you have this year. Was that more of matchup-based or more kind of just like trusting the veterans in a big spot?
No, I think we had some guys that probably needed a little time to heal up a little bit, and that's the good thing about rotating. We've rotated so many that if I get a guy that needs, that body needs a little bit more, we got guys that can step in there and handle the business. So we look at it as things as just attacking it as a unit. But KJ, he got in there and rolled. He was the guy that kind of rolled really well, and Darius was a warrior out there, and Bless had to spell him. But I like Darius in those games. If you look at it, at Darius and the Mose, they took every rep pretty much because they've been in those games, those atmospheres and emotion and things like that. I knew they could control, and they control the guys next to them. So I thought that was a smart play. And we also didn't play as many plays. We was about 60 plays, I think, total. So the play count was a little down, too, so we didn't get in too deep into the rotation. But, no, I thought the guys that we entrusted to go out there did a good job. And I thought KJ, when his name was called upon, he gave us some good sets.
Sorry, just one more. Coach Norvell talked about the discipline from the offense. Mm-hmm. Jordan mentioned a lot how much trash talk Miami was doing. How important was it for you guys to keep your cool? Because I felt that Miami defense was talking after every play, trying to bring you guys into the mess.
It goes back to the thing I talked about with the 3rd downs where we couldn't do anything to give them anything. We had to make them earn it. And, we had, I think, we didn't have any false starts, on offensively, we didn't have any personal fouls. So we didn't give them any advantage points to be able to flip the field and get a free 7 or get a momentum swing, or we don't have the advantage with them, not make them go march 80 on the other side because you got to play complementary football. So I was proud of our guys for their emotional control. Now we got to be better on some aspects about football, especially when you're playing a good, solid defense. But overall, as far as not putting us in a very compromised decision. You see, because it comes down to one possession. I think Coach put out a stat the last 23 times or something like that. I think 18 of them have come down to a possession. So, looking at history and things like that, we just want to make sure we put ourselves in a position where we don't give away a game because of our lack of mental discipline or focus. So I thought, handling that, that was the first thing I complimented them on was their focus and maintaining those kind of emotional type games.
It's not a huge deal, but you guys don't usually call timeouts on offense. Mm-hmm. Was there anything specifically happening in this game where you guys, it seemed like a couple times maybe guys weren't lined up right or didn't get the calls right or something like that? Yeah,
I don't. A couple of times is we had some things built in that we wanted to do certain things to specific things, and we also, that going back to the other two, we didn't want to do anything that was going to put us in a compromising situation. So, because like you said, those games come down to one possession, no matter what the situation is, that game historically has come down to it. So instead of having something catastrophic happen, we would go ahead and take the timeout. Now, we had some miscommunication things we got to clean up and all that kind of good stuff with some guys playing in there and rotating in there that they probably couldn't play a lot in practice and all those kind of scenarios. But at the end of the day, we didn't want to make a bad play a bad day. So we were hyper, elevated in making sure that didn't happen. So you saw those timeouts come out a little bit earlier.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.